Sony was good, my brother. Long time no see, my brother. What's the deal? Jay was good, was good, was good, was good. Was good with y'all. Hey, I'm going live every day this week. So I missed all last week. I took that time to really focus on some things. And so now I'm trying to go live all week. Brittany, thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. We was on here last night for a cool minute. And so we'll be on here every day, all week. All week, all week. What's good with y'all though? Monday night, 9:50 where I'm at. Jay, thank you for that follow. I appreciate you. MK, what it do? Let's talk about it. Natalie, what's going on? I should be asleep. Shit, you and me both. Wait, hold up, Jay. Where you at? Where you located? $9.50, yeah. It's $9.50 over here. Oh, $11.50. Yeah, I didn't go to bed last night till like 2. I didn't go to bed till like 2 last night. So after jumping on live, I was working on some things. And then I've been nonstop since like 6:30 this morning. I'm fresh off of basketball practice. I had to I helped coach my kids team for his traveling team. So I rushed home so I could jump on live, keep my word. I said I was going to go live today, even though Mondays ain't usually my days. It's usually Tuesday. I rushed home so I could jump on. Probably won't be on too long, though. Not going to lie. Probably be on until about like 10:40-ish, maybe 10:45-ish. And then I'll be back on tomorrow, regular scheduled program. Queen R, what up, what up, what up? X told daycare he couldn't fill out emergency contact form. Was he saying that as in like he didn't want to put his information, or what was he trying to prove out of that? Mike, thank you for that follow, bro. I appreciate you. I'm in LA, Jay. I'm in LA. So yesterday when I was on live, a lot of people were asking about, certain boundaries and things like that. If you know, you know. I talk a lot about boundaries. Boundaries are everything. Boundaries are non-negotiable, not optional. Like, boundaries are everything. Boundaries is life. Boundaries is life, especially when you want to have peace and you dealing with somebody who is manipulative and high conflict and all those things, right? All those buzzwords, those keywords. Boundaries are everything. Yeah, Wilker, drop your question. Wilkerson, drop your question. If y'all got questions, just feel free to drop them in the chat. Being extra nice now since the co-parenting app. Yup. They either get they shit together, get they act right, and they start cooperating, or they still high conflict and they want to, kind of fight against it. But either way, it works out in your benefit. Quick question. Just saw your live. Is doing a parent teacher conference separately? She is high conflict. Yeah, Bobby. If she's high conflict, I would definitely recommend doing 2 separate parent teacher conferences. I've been doing that for a long time. I actually, this past school year, the 2 parent teacher conferences that we were supposed to have, she didn't even schedule one. I just was the only one who ended up doing parent teacher conferences for the kid. So if she's just in it for the high conflict and for the drama, at some point she probably won't even schedule it. She'll probably fall off and won't even want to do it. But I definitely recommend doing it separately. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, seen a couple videos. Glad to catch it live. Man, I appreciate that, Jay. I appreciate you stopping through because you saw I was live. I appreciate that. And I'm glad that you enjoy the content. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't. So like last night, what we were talking about is we were talking about kind of like picking and choosing your battles, Natalie. So like I wouldn't even trip on that. If you don't want to fill it out, cool. You just fill it out. You know what I mean? I wouldn't even really make a big deal about it. During a drop off, me and my ex always pray together. Is that healthy? That's cool. Ain't nothing wrong with that. That's cool. Look, if y'all are cool enough to co-parent and to pray together and do all those things, there's nothing wrong with that. That's cool. You should want to co-parent with your child. With your co-parent, you should want to have a relationship to where y'all could pray together and stuff like that. That's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. That's a beautiful thing. That is a beautiful thing. Common Sense, welcome back in. I appreciate you stopping back through. Common Sense was rocking all night last night. Jess, thank you for that follow. I appreciate you. What co-parenting app can you suggest? I suggest Talking Parents. I suggest that because that's the one that I use. There's many out there. Our Family Wizard, I've been seeing a lot of people suggesting that. App Close, I've seen a few people suggest that, but I personally have used Talking Parents, and I think it works just great. Can you co-parent with the least contact or no contact at all? You can co-parent with little to no contact. I wouldn't say no contact at all, but little to no contact, meaning just communicating the important things, right? Parent teacher conferences are, next week. I'm going to schedule mine for whatever day. If you want to do a separate one, schedule yours for whatever day. They got a soccer game on Saturday at 3:00 in whatever city or wherever, right? Those types of things, that's cool. I'm sharing that. Hey, we're headed to the ER right now. They had an allergic reaction, whatever, right? But anything else, you don't really got to communicate about anything else. Nothing that's not super important. What do we do when the father's parents try to get too involved? I'd rather co-parent directly. Yeah, you don't have to. Listen, it's called co-parenting. So the family is irrelevant. You don't owe the family nothing. You don't have to talk to the family. You don't have to do none of that. My son's grown. We best friends still. That's cool. That's good. Sometimes, Judith, if it's super high conflict and you're neutral and the BM is cool with you and you guys got a cool relationship, sometimes that's not a bad idea. Now, if it's just on some lazy shit, then that don't really make sense. Lex, thank you for that follow. I appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This is where I've been struggling with this the most. Amanda, thank you for the share. Rhonda, thank you for the follow. I appreciate you. My bad, y'all. I'm way up in the chat. Hold on. Let me scroll down. Jasmine, thank you for that follow. I appreciate you. Michael Bibby, no, I appreciate you. Thank you. Man, hey, I'm glad that my content helps, Michael, for real. That really means a lot. I'm glad that it helps you. It makes everything easier. That definitely means a lot. I'm glad that it's helping. Kristen, thank you for the follow. I appreciate you. How can I co-parent with someone who is very spiteful and maybe slightly mentally unstable? Man, that's the story of my life. Mary Love, that's the story of my life. Right? So that's why, the subject of this live, right? It's all about boundaries. It's all about boundaries. For one, somebody like that, you're not going to be able to co-parent with. Y'all probably will never be able to see eye to eye. Y'all probably will never be able to get on the same page. And I say probably because it's nothing that you can do on your side to get that person to be on the same page. It takes two people, right? So that person has to look in the mirror, take some accountability, and has to want to be a better person and want to be a better co-parent, want to be a better parent, whatever the case may be, right? So all you can do on your end is set boundaries. Set boundaries, right? There's a lot of different boundaries you can set. Communication boundaries is number one. How you communicate, when you communicate, what you communicate about. Those are the best things that you can do. Set boundaries. The way you communicate, what you communicate about, and when you communicate. Huge. Huge. If the person is difficult like that, it's extremely important. It's extremely important for you to only communicate in writing. Extremely important. You can't do it no other way because I'm telling you, if it's verbal, you have no receipts of what's going on. It got to be in writing only. So, we were just talking about some of the apps. I recommend apps first and foremost, which Talking Parents, Our Family Wizard, App Close. I've used Talking Parents. I can only speak on Talking Parents. It works great. Only thing that I needed Talking Parents for, I didn't need it for all the extra features, FaceTiming and all that other stuff. All I needed it for was to send documents and pictures back and forth and send text messages. It worked great. If you can't do that, then you text. If you can't do that, then you email. But it has to be in writing. It's non-negotiable. Has to be in writing, right? What you talk about. Only about the child. When you're dealing with somebody that's spiteful, that is manipulative, that want to cause chaos all the time, they thrive on talking about the past and just talking about the problem. You can't just sit around and just talk about what the problem is. We get it. There's only so much you can say about the problem. We get what the problem is. We understand what the problem is. Now, how are we going to move forward? What's the solution for the problem? So last night's live, we talked a lot about, being a solution-based communicator, right? Communicate about solutions. So when they're sitting there trying to go back and forth and make you feel like shit and point the finger at you and talk about how you're the problem and this is the problem and that's the problem, you come with solutions. Don't come with trying to defend yourself, because that's a lose-lose situation. I'm gonna tell you right now. Lose-lose situation no matter what. You're dealing with a person who's not going to take accountability. So it's a lose-lose. You guys are just going to be going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, right? So instead of that, come with a solution, come with a suggestion. Now, if you're dealing with a person who's a little mentally unstable, very spiteful, high conflict, they probably ain't going to care about none of the solutions that you come with anyway. That's fine. Just don't get caught up in that cycle of arguing over the stupid shit. It's not worth it. It's not worth the energy. Queen R, thank you. She said, I love your content. I need this. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm here, Queen R, so you know, I'm here. Whenever you need, I'm here. Dropping content daily. I'm gonna be on live all week this week. I usually don't do that, but this week I'm doing it. Just Manny, thank you for that follow. I appreciate you. Nicole Renee, thank you for that repost. Maggie, thank you for that follow. I appreciate you. I've been drained so much when we argue. Yeah, you know, that's the thing. That's what they want from you. They want to drain you. Blessings, thank you for the gifts. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I really appreciate you. Thank you. And thank you guys for continuing to like the live and share the live. I appreciate that. That's what they want. You know what I'm saying? Alice, thank you for that follow. I appreciate you. That's what they want. They want to cipher your energy because they're already at a low level of energy. They're already, you know, miserable, upset, got, you know, a heart full of resentment, all of that, whatever the case may be. So they want to drain your energy. You can't give them that. You can't give them that. You're giving them too much power when you allow them to drain your energy. Monty, thank you for that follow. I appreciate you. If I missed your comments or questions, y'all, please keep dropping it in the chat. I promise I'll see it. Yeah, it's not easy, Maggie. It's not easy. It's definitely not easy. And that's why it's important to set these boundaries, right? So real quick, I'm just going to go through some general boundaries. We could talk about it. Y'all can still keep putting questions and your comments in there and I'll still answer those. But look, I just talked about communication boundaries. Huge, very important, very, very important, right? Emotional boundaries, huge, huge, right? Because Maggie's saying she's been crying so much. Emotional boundaries are huge. You can't allow their chaos to live rent-free in your head. You can't. You can't. So what that means is when they start hitting you up with all the bullshit and they're texting you and blowing up your phone and all these different things, do not feel obligated to engage with that. The moment that you do, you lost. You will be drained. You will feel shitty by the end of that conversation. I know. I've been there. I've been there. She used to run my life. Like, I used to feel terrible after having a fucking text conversation with her. Text, not even on the phone or in person. Text conversation. I used to feel shitty every time because she's just going hard. Like, no filter, no boundaries, no nothing. Like, nothing's off limits. And I would just like feed into it. And I'm just texting back, feeding into it. You can't do that. Cannot do that because that's what they want from you. So you automatically lose the game when you engage in that, right? The other thing about emotional boundaries is that you have to find things that will kind of take that edge off, right? And what I mean by that, healthy things, right? Healthy things that will take the edge off. I'm not talking about alcohol or anything like that, right? But like therapy, journaling, going to the gym. You know, if you live by a beach and you're a beach person or you're a nature person and you live by, you know, a beautiful scenery, go sit out there, go on a hike, do whatever it is that you have to do that will kind of take that edge off for you. And do it regularly. Do it regularly. Kat, thank you for that follow. I appreciate you. Time and access boundaries. Time and access boundaries. So again, your time is your time. My time is my time. That's what it comes down to. That's where if you're dealing with a high conflict person, or a person that's spiteful, where I say you can't co-parent, what I mean to say is you can't co-parent, but you can absolutely parallel parent, right? So that's where it's very minimal contact. They have their time with the child, you have your time, and that's where it's at. That's where it's at. You don't overly involve yourself in their time with the child, and they don't overly involve themselves in your time with the child. That's just where we at, right? You don't let the last minute cancellations or guilt trips or extra requests, you don't let those things get to you. Don't feel obligated. If it's not in your parenting plan, don't feel obligated to oblige them. If you guys are on respectful terms and you guys look out for each other that way, cool. That's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't want it to get twisted. I'm not saying that you shouldn't co-parent. I'm not saying that. All right. I have experience on both ends of the stick. I have a co-parent who I co-parent with very well, and everything's cool. We've never been to court. We have a verbal agreement, and we both have 50-50 with our verbal agreement, and we do what we do, and it's straight. On the other hand, I have a co-parent that is the complete opposite of that. We don't co-parent well. We've been to court for many, many, many years. Many years, right? And sometimes you can't, you start feeling guilty if that person start guilt tripping you because they want to switch a weekend, or because they want to switch a day, or because they want to keep them longer. But your time is your time, and their time is their time, right? So you can't allow those things to get you off balance when they're trying to do these last minute cancellations, or they're trying to guilt trip you and things like that. I know holidays is a big thing, right? Holidays is a big thing. You want to make sure you get those things in writing, right? We talk, if you just coming in, we talking about these boundaries, right? We done already went over communication boundaries, emotional boundaries, time and access boundaries. All right. The fourth boundary is social boundaries. Social boundaries, right? So we not dragging the kids into adult business. We're not dragging the kids into adult business whatsoever. Now, again, you can't control what the other person does, right? So you do your part. I'm not sitting here confiding in my child like they're my therapist or my best friend. Not going to happen. If they come to me with some information, or they come to me with something that the other parent said, I'm not addressing it. Okay, cool. I'll talk to your mom about that when I see her, or when I talk to her. Outside of that, that's it. We not going back and forth. We're not going back and forth. Aldrin, what up? Aldrin, what up? What up? What up? Lala, thank you for that. I really appreciate that gift. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We're not sending messages through the kids. We're not guilt tripping the kids. And we definitely not putting them in the middle. Definitely not putting them in the middle. Right? So this last little leg of when we went to court, me and my high conflict co-parent went to court. In the beginning of it, I remember having a conversation with my child, and my child was just down. And my child was telling me how their other parent was telling them that it's their fault that I'm taking them to court. It's the child's fault that I'm taking mom to court. That's insane to put that on at the time he was, I think, 7, on a 7-year-old. That's insane. It's your fault that, your dad is taking me to court because blah, 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 blah. We ain't doing that. We ain't doing that. I don't care how mad you get, how upset you get with the other parent, how much you don't mess with the other parent. I don't care what it is. There's no excuse to put any blame or put your child in the middle of anything. No excuse. No excuse. Now, if the other parent is doing that, it's your job as the mature parent to sit with them, not bash the other parent. Do not bash your other parent. I don't give a damn if you don't mess with them. do not bash the other parent, right? You want to look like the responsible parent. Not look, you want to be the responsible parent. I'm sorry. You want to be the responsible parent, all right? So if they're doing that, it's your job to be there for the child, sit and talk to them and explain to them how and why it is not their fault. Don't talk to them about what's going on in court, why you're taking them to court, why you're doing all these things. Don't do that. Just explain to them why it's not their fault. These are grown-up things that me and mommy are handling, and it has nothing to do with you. You are not the reason why we're going. Mommy knows why we're going, I know why we're going, and we're going to handle it as adults. You don't worry about it. I love you. You haven't done anything wrong. I'm here for you. You can always come talk to me, whatever, right? You got to reassure that child. Because that type of shit right there, of what the other parent's doing, will take that other child's self-esteem, and that shit is going down. It's sinking quick. Confidence sinking quick. Like that shit got an anchor on it. Quick. So it is very important for you to sit down and reassure that child. Right? The other thing is digital boundaries. Right? So, you know, a lot of the time, co-parents want to use communication. We talked about communication boundaries, right? But when I say digital boundaries, they want to use communication as leverage, right? They want to pick and choose when they call the child, when they, you know, check in on the child, when they see the child, whatever the case may be, right? So you can't sit glued to your phone waiting on the other parent to call because they said that they're going to come call to check on the child. And now you're upset and you're like, oh man, they don't never call. So what? If they don't never call, then go about your business and you continue to be the best parent that you can be. All right. I know it gets hard because you think about your child and you say, man, I really want this parent to be in my child's life, and I feel bad for my child because they say they're going to call, they don't call, they say they're going to text, they say they're going to FaceTime, and they don't do it. And I just feel so bad for my kids. I just feel so bad. But guess what? Your kids will be okay. I promise. Why? Because they have you in their corner. They will be okay. Yes, it's unfortunate. Of course, we want both parents in our children's lives. But if the other parent is irresponsible and doesn't want to handle their business and take care of their responsibilities, you can't make them. So don't put the extra stress on yourself and be glued to the phone. And I'll tell you, this is what's going to happen, right? As soon as you stop being glued to the phone, that's when they're going to decide to call or FaceTime or whatever. And you're going to be busy. Child's going to be busy. And you're going to miss the call. And then guess what's going to happen? Ofa, what up? Guess what's going to happen when you miss the call? They're going to try and make you feel guilty. Oh, I told you I was going to call. I told you, and you didn't answer the phone. And now I can't call. And all these different things. Guess what? Not your problem. Not your problem. You didn't ignore the call on purpose. You didn't block them. But it's not your job to sit glued to the phone waiting on them when they have a track record of not showing up. All right. You know, you can also, so let me before I say this, I'm going to preface it by saying this. Co-parenting is all about structure. Co-parenting doesn't work without structure. Parallel parenting does not work without structure, right? The shit can't be the wild, wild west and they just come and go, you know, as they please. They just call whenever they want. They just check in whenever they want. And it's just inconsistent, and it can't be the wild, wild west. It can't. Now, I'm not telling you to block them. I'm not saying that. Just because they're inconsistent, you block them. I'm not saying that. But there needs to be structure. not just for the co-parent or the parallel parenting relationship to work, but even for the kids, because kids need routine and they need structure. All right. So you can set response hours. So you're not, you're not there just like at every beck and call 24/7. You can say, hey, look, I know you said you're going to call at 7, but we only going to be available from 5 to 6 or from 3 to 6 or whatever the case may be. And that's where you can have your phone on loud or whatever the case may be. And that way they're not controlling your day based on, oh, I'm going to call tomorrow. Okay, well, what time you going to call tomorrow? Oh, no, I'm just going to call tomorrow. All right, well, I'm not going to be sitting here waiting on you to call. I got other things I got to do. Child got homework, got basketball, got this, got that, got to take showers and go to sleep, all that, right? If you follow your co-parent on social media, if you follow your co-parent on social media, I would advise you not to. Because if y'all are not cool like that, what are you getting out of it? What are you getting out of it? You're besides getting upset and wasting your time and all of that, like just getting riled up, what are you getting out of it? So if you follow them on social media, or if they follow you, block them, unfriend them, whatever you got to do. You are not obligated to give them digital access to your life. You are not obligated. So whatever it is you got to do that. But just know, on social media, if they know that they follow you or that you follow them, they are going to be trying to trigger you through social media every single time. Thank you, Ofa. Thank you. If you guys, real quick, I'm just going to take a quick pause, y'all. If you guys are getting any type of value from this live or from any other lives or any content that I've posted that you've seen, please continue to like this live. We usually are doing like 25K likes, 30 likes, I think maybe 38 or something like that has been our highest. Let's get it up there. We real low tonight. If we can get it higher, we get more people in here, we get on that FYP, and it gets a lot more live in here. But please continue to like the live. Please continue to share. If you haven't hit the follow button, please hit the follow button. If you don't follow me on these platforms yet, please do so. Please do so. Y'all's president is really weird right now when it comes to TikTok. I keep hearing different things that he's going to let it die off. And then I'm hearing things like, they came to an agreement, things like that. Regardless, this train is not going to stop. Real Life Playbook is not going to stop. So if TikTok goes away, follow me here. Subscribe on YouTube. Follow me on Instagram. And we're going to keep it going. Lives, content daily, all that stuff. I really appreciate y'all. Cool. So far, and I haven't forgot about y'all in the chat. I see y'all dropping questions and comments. I just want to make sure I touch on these boundaries real quick. So if I haven't got to your comment or your question, keep dropping them in the chat, please. So we talked about communication boundaries. We talked about emotional boundaries. We talked about time and access boundaries. We talked about social boundaries. We just talked about digital boundaries. All right. Now, respect boundaries. This probably should have been higher on my list. Respect boundaries. All right. Respect boundaries. Respect is the floor, not the ceiling. Let me say that one more time. Respect is the floor. It is not the ceiling. It doesn't stop at respect. It starts at respect. All right? It starts at respect. So if they are not respecting you, then that's where it needs to start. All right? That's where it needs to start. That's not where it stops. That's where it starts. All right. At the end of the day, I know it can be triggering to talk to some of our co-parents sometimes because of the way that they speak to us. You're not obligated to tolerate disrespect and have a conversation with somebody who's being disrespectful with you. But what you do need to do is you need to communicate that. Don't just block them. Don't just block them. Let them know, listen, I'm not going to continue this conversation if you're going to continue to disrespect me. Of course, they're going to continue to disrespect you. Now, what I do, Ofa, what's it called? Ofa in the chat, what's it called? If Sony's still in here, Sony in the chat, what's it called? If they continue to disrespect you after you let them know, look, I'm not, boom, hey, pin that, Ofa. If I'm not, Aldrin, Becca, you already know, I'm not tolerating disrespect. I'm not going to continue this conversation with you. As soon as they start disrespecting you again, guess what? 24-hour lockdown. I'm going to block your ass for 24 hours. I'm not going to let you know when you're unblocked. I'm not even telling you that I'm blocking you. You're just going to get the green bubble. You're just going to get the green bubble. That's how you know you're blocked. How do you know you're unblocked? You're going to know when you send a text and you get a blue bubble. It's the only way you're going to know. That's it. That's it. But listen. I said 24 hours. I'm not blocking for a week. Not blocking for a month. Not blocking for a year. I'm not doing none of that. Because then that starts to become alienation. We're not giving them that leverage to be able to say that we alienating when that's not what we're doing. Now, I sent my text message that said, I'm not going to continue this conversation if you continue to disrespect me. They continued. I blocked for 24 hours. I unblocked when I woke up in the morning, whatever the case may be. And I have a screenshot of that. I have a screenshot of that conversation. All right. So I have my proof that this conversation was not productive. It was not going anywhere. I have my proof. All right. You want them, and also for us too, we want to speak to them the way we want them to speak to us. So I'm not yelling. I'm not name calling. I'm not having no type of demeaning tone. None of that. I'm going to be very monotone and very neutral. Not yelling, not letting them get me out of character, none of that. Very important. And if I can't do that, then I'm not going to respond until I can do that. If I'm just hot in the moment and I just feel like popping off, I'm not going to respond. I'll wait. I'm going to put my phone down. I'm not even going to have my phone on me. I'm going to put it down and I'm going to go do something else. All right. Yeah. And then, I mean, just like I said, if respect isn't given, then communication pauses until it is. Bottom line. Listen, you ain't nobody's punching bag. All right. I remember my pops used to tell me that when I was young. When I was a young kid, I grew up at my grandma's house with a whole bunch of cousins, right? I come from a big family. I had a whole bunch of cousins, and we grew up like brothers and sisters. And I would be the one fighting everybody in the house, right? For one reason or another. And I remember my dad used to get mad, right? I'd show up to his crib with bruises and scratches and all that. And he would be pissed, like, you ain't nobody's punching bag, right? I remember that shit to this day. Y'all ain't nobody's punching bag, even verbally. You're not nobody's punching bag. You don't got to subject yourself to that. All right? And don't let them guilt trip you either, because they will do it. They'll guilt trip you into making you feel like you did something wrong. You didn't do shit wrong by protecting your peace and having some self-respect. All right? Let me see. I got just two more, y'all. Two more. And then I'm going to get to y'all's questions. I'm going to get to everything. I'm going to get to everything. Let's see. Where we at? Thank you for those roses. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, new partner boundaries. All right, I got a bunch of questions about this last night in the live. New partner boundaries. All right, very important. Very important. So, bonus parents are here to add love. They're not here for confusion. All right, they're not here for confusion. So, once you move on, if you're dealing with a high conflict co-parent, if you're dealing with somebody who is manipulative and all these different things that we were talking about earlier, they're going to have an issue with you moving on. You know, things are probably going to get worse before they get better, right? But here's the thing. You can bring in a new partner in a healthy way, all right? In a healthy way. The healthy way is that you don't try to force them on your child. You don't be like, oh yeah, this your new mom, blah, 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 this your new dad, blah, blah. Don't do that shit, all right? Don't do that. It's the worst thing you can do, all right? Best thing you can do is let it develop naturally and make sure that you set the tone and set the boundaries for your new partner in your household. Because your new partner, man or female, your new partner is only going to do as much as you allow them to do. All right? They're only going to do as much as you allow them to do. So if you let them overstep and start trying to force your kids to call them dad or call them mom and all these other things, and you allow that, they're going to do it. If that's the type of person that your new partner is. Not all new partners are created equal. All right? There's some new partners who come in, they already know what their role is. They already know, I'm not doing that because that ain't right. Right? So, but you got to set the tone. As the partner or the co-parent, you have to set the tone. All right? You got to set the boundaries for that new partner. They're there for additional love, not for confusion, not to replace the other parent. They're not there for that. All right? Everyone needs to stay in their lane. Bio parents, parent, bonus parents, support. Let me say that one more time. Everybody needs to stay in their lane. Bio parents do the parenting, and bonus parents support. All right? That's huge. That's huge. Because forget about the co-parent, what they gonna say and what they gonna do and how they gonna act. But that's going to mess up the relationship between your partner, your new partner, and the child. It gets weird for the child when both of their parents are involved and then the other parent moves on, has a new partner, a spouse, whatever the case may be. And that new spouse is talking about call me mom or call me dad. But the child has an active father or has an active mother in their life. That doesn't mean that they can't be a father figure or a mother figure, but to try and press them and say, call me this or call me that, they're going to be looking at that person like, I got a dad, I got a mom. Like, why are you being so extra? Right? Don't use kids to triangulate or test their loyalties. Again, that goes back to what we were talking about earlier about putting kids in the middle. We're not doing that under any circumstances. I don't care how you feel. I don't care how you feel about the co-parent, the situation, whatever. We are not putting the kids in the middle of nothing. We're not doing that. Spare your kids. We're not doing that. All right. Let me see. Last one, y'all. Last one. Lala, thank you for that heart me. Thank you. Last one, y'all. So we talked about communication boundaries, emotional boundaries, time and access boundaries, social boundaries, digital boundaries, respect boundaries, new partner boundaries, and the last but not least, maybe top three is mental health boundaries. Mental health boundaries. We're almost at 5K, y'all. Keep hitting that screen. Keep tapping the screen. Thank you guys. I really appreciate it. Like I said, we're usually at like around 25K, 35K. Let's see if we can get to that. Please, please, and thank you. Let's get more people in here. Keep sharing the live out if you're getting any type of value from it, or any of the other lives you've seen, or any of my content you've seen. Please continue to like and share. I really appreciate y'all. Mental health boundaries. If y'all are in need of mental health boundaries, let me see mental health boundaries in the chat. Type mental health boundaries in the chat if you are in need of mental health boundaries. Mental health in the chat. Let's go. We just hit 5K. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Let's go. Boom. So mental health boundaries, all right? It's okay to log out for my peace. Y'all need to say that to yourself and internalize that. It's okay. Thank you for the roses. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's okay. It's okay to log out for your peace. La, thank you, thank you, thank you. And so if you feel like you gotta just take a step back, take 2 steps back. It's okay. Because I will tell you, and this is from experience, you will fuck around and lose yourself in this whole co-parenting thing. If you don't have a healthy co-parenting situation, you can easily lose yourself in it, because they will guilt trip you. You will second guess yourself. Any decisions you make, you will second guess yourself. They will make you feel like shit every chance they get if you allow them to. And it will take a toll on you. It will take a toll on you. You could be the most confident person in the world, right? But if you're dealing with somebody who you wanted it to work, you have a child now or multiple children now, and it's just not working, and they're telling you, oh, you're selfish, or this is your fault, and this, you start really thinking to yourself, you know what, damn, maybe it is me. Maybe it's something that I'm not really giving my all. I've been there. Maybe I'm not giving my all. You know what? Fuck it. I'm going to give my all, and I'm going to see where it goes. And you start overly pouring yourself into this situation, and this person is just taking and taking and taking and taking. They're just taking and taking and taking. They don't give a shit how you feel. They're not checking in to see how you feel, your mental health. They just want to take. And as much as you give, they're going to take. Not even take. They snatching shit. They not asking for it. They don't got a handout. They see you extend it, they snatching it. And you will mess around and you will lose yourself. You will forget who you are, the confident person that you are, the ambitious person that you are, the person who got dreams and goals, the person who, took pride in keeping themselves together. You starting to lose yourself physically. Your health starts taking a hit. All these things are real, factual, been through it myself. Factual. So it's okay. If you feel like you got to take a step back, take 2 steps back. Take what you need. Now, I'm not saying that you leave your child or anything like that. You still show up for your child and you handle your business. And that's difficult in itself when you're going through something as mental as this can be. It's already heavy. And I understand that, right? But if you got to take a step back from just the co-parenting aspect to try and gather yourself and get yourself together, you need to do that. Non-negotiable, not optional. You need to do it. All right? You don't need to reply immediately if you feel triggered. Step away, breathe, and then respond. I just mentioned it. There's been plenty times, right? So now I'm kind of in a space where, for the most part, I'm at peace. I say maybe about 95 to 98% of the time, I'm at peace. There's not too much that she can do or say, unless it's directly affecting my child, that can trigger me. Now, I didn't say 100%. I said 95 to 98%. So I still get triggered from time to time. And when I do, I literally I put my phone on silent. I throw my phone on the bed, or if I'm at the house or whatever, and I go do something else. I go spend some time with my kids. I go to the gym. I do something else, right? Something that's going to get your mind off of it. Take your emotions out of that situation. And then I'll go back because, it's funny. When you're triggered and your emotions are up here and you respond, you're going to say some outlandish shit. We've all done it, right? Some of us are still doing it. It's okay. We all works in progress. It's cool. But the funny thing is when you don't respond right away and you go do something else and you have even just 10 minutes to think, your response be so different when you get back to your phone. Your response be so different. Like I'm telling you, every single time, it never fails. The response be so different. And it's almost like God just gives you a vision and gives you a clear response to where it's not as triggering. It's not going to add to the problem. It's not going to add fuel to the fire. Now, my last point on mental health boundaries, I can't explain how important this is. Everything I've said tonight is equally important, but I cannot stress how important this is. You need to prioritize, keyword is prioritize, your own therapy, gym time, or hobbies. Because burned out parents cannot show up well for their kids. Let me say that again. Prioritize your therapy, gym time, hobbies, whatever it is that makes you feel whole again and takes you out of that emotional mindset. Prioritize that. Because burned out parents cannot show up fully for their kids. If your cup is half full, what can you pour into your kids? You're not going to have anything left for yourself when you pour your half glass into your kids. You're not going to have nothing left for yourself. All right? So it's extremely important to prioritize your mental health. Now, quick recap. We talked about communication boundaries. We talked about emotional boundaries. We talked about time and access boundaries, social boundaries, digital boundaries, respect boundaries, new partner boundaries, and mental health boundaries. It is extremely important, y'all. Extremely, extremely, extremely important to prioritize these boundaries and stand on them. Now, listen, I'm coming closer to the camera because this might be the most important thing out of everything I said. If you have these boundaries and you don't enforce them, the boundaries don't mean shit. All right, Lala, I gotta do it. If you have all these boundaries and you don't stand on business, they don't mean shit. I promise you. All right. So I always use these examples. I always use the same examples, y'all. I just gave y'all a whole gang of different examples for these different types of boundaries, right? But I always use this example because it's my favorite. If my communication boundary is I'm only talking to you through text and you call me and I pick up, I just failed myself. I just did myself a disservice because guess what? When you give an inch, they're going to take a mile. So now, oh, he picked up. Now guess what she gonna start doing? Start blowing my phone up. Right? So it's in my best interest if I set a boundary. I'm only communicating with you through text. If she calls my phone, I'm not answering. I'm not answering. You can text me. Right? It has to be that way. You have to stand on boundaries. All right? You have to. Now, I'm not saying that people can't change when we're dealing with these types of people. I'm not saying that they can't change. But you have to pay attention to patterns. If that person has a pattern, they've been showing you a pattern while you were with them of who they are. When you split up, they're showing you a pattern of who they are. If they're showing you these patterns, the chances of them changing, less than likely. Probably not going to change. Probably not going to change. So if you guys go through a period of time where things are smooth and now they're communicating good and things are like that, cool. That's cool. Communicate with them, handle your business, do what you need to do. That's cool. But do not go back on your boundaries. All right? I keep stuttering, and I'm not trying to offend nobody if you are stuttering or if you stuttered, but I'm saying that because it's important. That's why I keep repeating myself. It's that important. All right? It's that important. All right? It's that important. You have to stand firm on your boundaries. Even in the times when you guys are cool, you have to stand firm on your boundaries, because the minute you go back on your boundaries, guess what? You done shot yourself in the foot, because now here come the bullshit and here come all the nonsense again. All right? So I know y'all been running it up in the chat. Go ahead and drop questions, drop your comments. I'm all in the chat. I'm all in the chat. I'm all in the chat. Lala, I be acting out sometimes. Sometimes I get a little too hyped and I be acting out. Should a lawyer be involved? Lawyers are great. Lawyers are great. Lawyers are really good because they know how to speak the language. They know how to present your case in the proper way that it'll be received in the right light with the judge. So lawyers are great. They're just really expensive, and there's a lawyer on every corner nowadays, so you got to really do your research. When other parent oversteps boundaries, the other parent is always going to try and overstep the boundary. It's your job to enforce the boundary and stand on it. I know I missed a lot of y'all who hit that follow button. I'm usually calling y'all's names out, and I missed a lot of y'all while I was ranting. But thank you guys for the follow. I really appreciate y'all. Hales Colors, thank you for the follow. I appreciate you. Renat, thank you for the follow. I appreciate you. Modern Day Dad, thank you for that follow. I appreciate you. Mana, thank you. I appreciate you. Mary Love, absolutely. Thank you for pulling up. Thank you. How do I deal with emotionally immature and anger baby daddy not putting him on birth certificate? So if you're having issues, again, I mentioned earlier that co-parenting, parallel parenting, either or, it's all about structure. You got to get some structure in your situation. So if he's not on the birth certificate, then you have to establish paternity before you guys can make any type of arrangements or custody or anything like that. So the best thing to do to get structure is to go to court. Now, I don't recommend court for everybody. It's not for everybody. It's not for every situation. I will say that. Again, court is great to get structure in your situation. And I'm not talking about child support. That's a whole different conversation. I'm talking about structure. People acting like it's the wild, wild west and they can just pop in whenever they want, whatever the case may be. And they try to guilt trip you and they try to hold, weaponize the child and hold this and that over your head and stuff like that. It's control. They're trying to control your life and they're trying to control you. The best way to beat that and to fight that is to go get structure through the court system. Mother Beth, thank you for that heart me. Thank you. We at 8.7K likes, y'all. Thank you so much for all the likes. I really appreciate everybody who pulled up. I really appreciate everybody who hit that follow button. I appreciate everybody who dropped gifts. Y'all are much, much, much appreciated. I really do appreciate y'all. Also, y'all, I really appreciate the love when you guys are letting me know, what videos have helped you, what lives have helped you. Some of you guys jump back in and you tell me about your progress and you tell me about, your court dates and things that happen and things like that. I really appreciate that because that's the reason why I'm doing this. I'm doing this because I know what it felt like. I mean, I'm not out the woods yet. I'm not out the woods yet. I still deal with high conflict and I'm still co-parenting and all that stuff. But I know what it felt like to feel alone and not have anybody to lean on or to talk to or discuss these things with because wasn't nobody talking about this stuff or, nobody in my family was I able to go to, from a man's perspective or whatever the case. I grew up around with a single mother. So, I get my mom's perspective on things. And my mom was always very mature. She was never high conflict. She was never, talking crazy about my pops, none of that stuff. So, but when it comes to how to handle high conflict, when it comes to how to handle some of these court hearings and situations in that manner, I didn't have anybody to go to. So I know what it feels like. So the fact that the content helps, the lives help, we really building a community and everybody's helping everybody. I love to hear it. So those of y'all who jumped in the chat and was telling me about how everything is helping you and things like that, I really appreciate that. Stephanie, thank you for that follow. I appreciate you. My BD shows up to your when BD shows up to your house daily but doesn't contribute anything as a parent. So again, you got to set boundaries. Now, I'm not telling you to keep him away from his kid. I'm not telling you to do that because I don't think you should do that. I don't think that's the solution. But you have to set boundaries. There has to be some type of structure. Sezzy Jane, thank you for that follow. Phyllis, thank you for that follow. I appreciate you guys. Where we at? Hold on, I'm scrolling up in the chat, y'all. Hold on. If I missed your comment or your questions or anything like that, please drop it in the chat. Please drop it back in the chat. Don't feel like you spamming. The chat moving fast, so I might miss you. Maggie, I've been seeing you dropping comments in here, so I really want to touch on what you were asking. I just missed a lot of your comments and questions. Maggie said, I just feel lost because he holds so much control over me. Maggie, do you guys have a custody order, visitation schedule? Do you have any of that? Shawnee said Gray Rock. Yeah. If you haven't heard of the Gray Rock method, it's really when you just very bland in communication. You very just like indifferent, very bland in your responses, very short, straight to the point, boring. That's how it has to be. It has to be that way. Sincerely, nay, you can't co-parent with a narcissist. Best you can do is parallel parent with them. But in order to parallel parent, you got to have structure. So they got to have, you guys got to have a custody order. You got to have visitation order, all that good stuff. So that way you can parallel parent properly. Yeah, okay, so look, here's the thing, Maggie. He holds so much control over you because that's why he doesn't want you to go to court. That's exactly why he does not want you to go to court. Because he wants to be able to control you and control the situation. If you go to court, now you're not obligated to him and what he's holding over you. You're obligated to what's in your court order and your parenting plan. Anything outside of that, you're not obligated to. So what it's sounding like is you need to go to court. If you don't want to put him on child support, you don't have to. You can make it very clear that you don't need the child support. You're not requesting it. You just want this custody order and this visitation schedule. That's up to you. But I would highly recommend getting some structure in your co-parenting situation so that way you can take your power back and have some freedom. Snack B, thank you for the follow. I appreciate you. It don't matter if he doesn't want to go to court or not. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. If you file the paperwork, he must be served. If he doesn't show up, then things are going to go in your favor. Simple as that. Simple as that. Court, listen. Court is not a mutual agreement. Half the people that's been in court, maybe more than half, the people that's been in court, half of them never wanted to go. I promise you. I promise you. It's not a mutual thing. Sometimes it's just what's needed. Because I can guarantee you, Maggie, I can guarantee you. I saw some of your comments where you're saying that, sometimes you cry and it makes you emotional and things like that. I can guarantee you, your child or your children, if they don't see it, they feel it. You're not able to show up whole as a parent and pour into your children 100% if you are not there fully yourself. So it's not a matter of he's just controlling you, but he's also controlling how you show up as a parent, whether you realize it or not. And that's going to affect your child in the long run. Yeah, Southside. That's true, but why put the white man in your business, though? So here's my thing. I don't think anybody wakes up, right? And when I say anybody, I'm talking about people that's in their right mind. You got those spiteful co-parents that's just, I'm going to take them to court and I'm going to get child support and I'm going to just take them to court, whatever, right? For the drama and for the chaos and for the control, whatever, right? That's a different conversation. Rational thinking parents, people, I don't think they just wake up and say, I want to go to court. But sometimes that's what you have to do. So let me pose this question to you. If your co-parent is keeping the child from you, weaponizing the child, right? Keeping the child from you, alienate you, ain't giving you no information. You don't know where your child goes to school. You reach out every single day, multiple times a day to try and meet up and try and go pick up your kid and this, that, and the third, and they're not doing it. Are you just going to sit on your hands and not do anything about it? I'm not. I ain't going for it. I ain't going for it. I'm going to court. I'm not going for it. So every situation is different. I mentioned earlier, I don't recommend that everybody goes to court. I don't recommend that. Court is not for every situation. But if two people are not mature enough to come to agreements and be on the same page and being able to work it out themselves, then court is necessary. I mentioned it earlier. I have a co-parent who I went to court with because it was necessary, it had to be done. Didn't want to go, but it had to be done. And we spent many years back and forth in court. Unnecessary money spent, unnecessary time wasted, all of that, right? But then I have another co-parent who we've never been to court. It's been 14 years. We've never been to court. We've been on the same page. We've been able to verbally agree on a schedule for our child. When either one of us, needs something, or we come together as co-parents and we need to discuss stuff, we're able to do so. No egos, no pride, none of that. And I'm not saying we're perfect. We're human, right? We're human. We sometimes we get in our disagreements or whatever the case may be, but it doesn't get to the point of where we're disrespecting each other, where we got to block each other, where we got to do any of that stuff. It doesn't get to that point. It never gets to that point, because she understands that she got her own situation on her side. I got my own situation on my side, and we are just coming together for the child. And we able to do that. It's cool. It don't got to be all the drama, right? This is why I just dropped some videos before I jumped on live. This is why I said in a couple of my videos, high conflict co-parents, they don't just like drama. They need it to breathe. Because these are the type of people that just wake up in the morning and just want to start some shit. Because a rational thinking person don't want drama. They want peace. They want to be chill. They want to be relaxed. They don't want all the extra drama. As adults, we all work. We all got kids to raise. Some of us is trying to build businesses. Some of us is trying to do better for ourselves. Some of us are in school. Some of us are doing all these different things, right? Not to mention our kids are in, parallel programs. They're in other activities and things. We all got a lot of stress as it is. Why do we need unnecessary stress? What about co-parent, grandparents who are toxic? You don't owe co-parents. You don't owe grandparents any type of communication or anything like that. If if they're supposed to be the neutral party, then cool, that's one thing. But if they're being toxic, you don't owe them no responses. You don't owe them nothing. That's not your co-parent. Exactly. Lala said grandparents have no fundamental rights to your child. Exactly. You don't owe them nothing. Exactly. Snack B said, life is hard enough. When adulting works, it's a beautiful thing. Facts. Would you ever want more kids? No, not for me, because I have 5 kids. I have 5. So I don't want no more kids. Absolutely not. Love my kids to death. They my world. They've taught me a lot over the years. All that good stuff. But no siree. I don't want not near kid. Not another. Absolutely not. No, thank you. I'm scrolling up in the chat, y'all. If I missed your comments or questions, please drop it in there again. Please. Thank you guys for continuing to like the live. If you've gotten any type of value out of this live, any other lives, or any other content that you've seen me post, please continue to like this live. We almost to our goal. I'm trying to get us to at least like 25K. Southside, thank you for that, Rose. I appreciate you. Continue to share it out. Please continue to share it out. I really appreciate y'all. Also, if you haven't followed me on these platforms yet, please do so. With this government, they keep talking about TikTok going away, it coming back, all these different things. I don't know. But if it goes away, Real Life Playbook ain't going away. We here. This is where we gonna be at. So please subscribe to the YouTube, follow on Instagram, and we gonna keep the train rolling. Hold on. Becca said, come on, one more baby. You wildin'. Becca tripping. Let's see. Isadora, thank you for the follow. I appreciate you. Ubru, thank you for the follow. I appreciate you. MK, thank you for the share. I appreciate that. Julio, thank you for the follow. I appreciate you, bro. Let's see where we at. What about when the other parent's presence gives you anxiety? Even, where'd it go? Even on the phone. I love that comment because I was there. I can almost paint to the T what type of person you're dealing with. Super high conflict, super disrespectful, just no boundaries, no filter, just free for all. It's important. So one of the boundaries I talked about, right, was the mental health boundary. And the first thing I said was, it's okay to log out for my peace. It's the same thing in this situation. It's okay to step back from dealing with that parent, that co-parent, until you can kind of get yourself together and find yourself emotionally. Because that's trauma. You've dealt with a lot of trauma with that person. So that's trauma. The only way you get over that is by creating an environment for you to heal in. That means that you can't be around no negative people. That includes friends that want to gossip and talk about negative shit all the time and all that. Can't be around that. Can't be giving your co-parent unnecessary access to you, because they're going to trigger you every time. That anxiety is going to kick in every time. You got to create an environment that is conducive to your healing. All right. So again, I mentioned prioritize your therapy, your gym time, or your hobbies. Whatever it is that makes you feel whole and takes you out of that headspace, prioritize that. And it may not happen in a month. May not happen in 2 months. May not happen in 3 months. It took me some years. At least two. And that's me being generous saying 2. At least 2 years of me creating this environment of not allowing any negativity. I cut off my friends. I probably had like one close friend that I would talk to here or there, whatever the case may be. But I really focused on my children, myself. I really focused on just healing, just doing the things that, made me feel better, made me feel whole, made me be able to remember who I was as a person before I met that person, before I went through the things I went through with that person. It's very important. Very, very important. Scrolling up. Hold on. If I missed your comments or questions, y'all, please keep dropping in the chat. Hey, Lala, the president can keep that $1,400. All right? That $1,400 don't go a long way when you got 5 kids. It don't go a long way. It don't go a long way. So he can keep that $1,400 because kids cost way more than $1,400. Rachel, thank you for the follow. I appreciate you. If I missed anybody who hit that follow button, I appreciate you. I like to call y'all out by name because I really do appreciate y'all. But the chat has been moving quick, and I know I missed a lot of people. You are much appreciated. That's a stroller and 2 months of outfits. Facts. Facts. And then you got 18 years where you looking at that 1400 like, damn, that 1400 didn't put a dent in shit. Are you active in the DM? I'm gonna inbox you some questions because I really think I could benefit from you. Yeah, you guys can DM me. If you trying to like really have a conversation and really trying to connect that way, the best thing to do is follow me on Instagram and send me a voice note. Because I'll be honest with y'all, sometimes I check my DMs and then I'll see like, I'll try and get to y'all, but I'll see like a huge paragraph and I'm like in the middle of doing things. I'm just trying to like quickly answer and do what I gotta do. But when I see that huge paragraph, I'm not gonna hold y'all. It's really discouraging. I'll be like, fuck, man, I gotta sit here and like really go through it. But if you just send me a voice note, I can just listen to it while I'm moving around and doing what I gotta do. I can send you a voice note back. And we can kind of do it that way. Sing, thank you for the follow. I appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. A co-parent that acts like he's helping but throws it in your face. He's just doing it to try and have some type of leverage. He's just doing it to try and have some type of leverage. So I talked about this last night. Asian Irish, thank you for that follow. I appreciate you. I talked about this last night in the live where I was saying, I was pretty much saying like, I know it's difficult for some of us to raise children on our own, to provide for them on our own and things like that. I know it's difficult, but you have to try and work towards not relying on their help, right? You got to work towards trying not to rely on their help no matter how difficult it is. I'm not saying be prideful. If they're offering you the help, cool, take the help if you need it. But once it gets to the point of they're trying to hold it over your head and everything, they're trying to use that as leverage to control you. So the less you rely on them, the less control they're going to have over you, or the less leverage they're going to have over you. What's some of the boundaries that you're setting? What's some of the boundaries that you're setting that he feels are controlling? Because here's the thing, when it's a baby, when it's like a newborn, months old, it's very difficult to co-parent, because of course the baby needs to be with mom most of the time, especially if you're breastfeeding, things like that. It's very difficult. It's very, very difficult. You know, so Julio said, why is it that mothers continue to use kids as weapons? It's because when you decide as a man, when you're the man that left the relationship, when you decide that you don't want to be with that person anymore, and you say, okay, but I'm still going to be there for my kids, that is very hurtful to a woman who wanted to be with you. And I do this because some women say, oh, you know, I thought I was going to be with them forever and blah, blah, blah. But they was like high conflict and they was like doing all the wrong things, whatever the case may be. And there could be a lot of reasons for that, whatever. That's a different conversation. But that's very hurtful to a woman. So they say, okay, he cares mostly about his children. So I'm going to weaponize the child. I'm going to hit him where it hurts. Because they know that that's the only way that they can get to you. So that's when they start weaponizing the child. Yeah, I don't think that's controlling. That's not controlling. That's not controlling at all. So she said, if he can't make his days to see his daughter, pretty much she asked him to let her know in advance. There's nothing wrong with that, because now you're not just sitting around waiting on him, right? That was another boundary. That was another boundary. I have it down as digital boundaries because I was talking about just being glued to your phone, waiting on them, right? It's the same thing. You're not obligated to be glued to your phone waiting on them. Or you just sitting at home on a Saturday because they're supposed to be picking up the kid on a Saturday, and you sitting there, you waste your whole damn Saturday. You waste your whole Saturday because they feel like they can't just hit you up and tell you like, hey, you know what? I can't make it today, whatever, whatever. No, you're not wrong for that. You're not wrong for that. That's not controlling at all. That's called being an adult, being mature, and communicating. That's what that's called. Tina Joy, thank you for that follow. I appreciate you. No, 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 Julio. No, 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 no. The answer is not forget about the kids. Absolutely not. You never forget about the kids. You never do that. You never do that. Absolutely not. So what you do is, and I don't know if this is your situation that you've already done this, but you get a court order, you get a custody order, you get some structure to where they can't weaponize the kid anymore. Because once you have that, and they still trying to weaponize the kid and trying to keep the kid from you, you document that, you take that evidence back to the court, and some change gets made. You never forget about the kids. Getty, thank you for the follow. I appreciate you. He missed all birthdays of my son. He saw him 4 times since he was born. I blocked him. I'm tired. Look, I get the whole blocking thing. I get it. I get it. I get it. 1,000%. I get it. But you will never hear me tell somebody that it is cool to block somebody indefinitely. You will never hear me say that. Because I like to look at things through the eyes of the courts. All right? And through the eyes of the courts, even though he ain't been there, he missed the birthdays, he's only shown up 4 times, if he decides he wants to surprise you and take you to court, you get the paperwork in the mail, you get served, and you're surprised like, bro, you ain't been here. Like, what are you going to win? What are you going to get? And he's documented that he's trying to reach out, and he has documented that he's trying to reach out, and you've blocked him. He goes to court with that, he's going to get some time. He's going to get some time. Because it's going to look like you alienated him. So he's going to get some time. No, 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 no. I'm not a lawyer, y'all. I'm not a lawyer. I've just spent a significant amount of time in the courts and have done a lot of research and things like that. So a little bit of my story as far as court goes. I was taken to court. I think I was like 22. No, sorry. I was 25. I was taken to court. At the time, I didn't know anything about the court system. My co-parent was on some spiteful stuff just because I decided, I didn't want to be with her anymore or anything like that. We went to court. I didn't know anything about it. And all I knew about court was the narrative that most men know, that courts don't like men, don't like fathers, and, they rule against fathers. That's all I knew, right? So my co-parent kept threatening me, saying like she's going to get full custody, all this and that. I didn't know how it worked, so I was scared. I ended up taking this deal that, she threw out and the judge threw out of me being every other weekend parent. Took that deal, was the dumbest shit I ever did. Once I realized that, I felt shitty once I got home and realized I got. I started doing all my research and started building my case. I ended up taking my co-parent back to court a few years later. That one case lasted a few years, on and off in court for like every other 3 months. And I ended up becoming 50-50 parent, with final say over education and health and things like that for my child. So, yeah, that's where my knowledge of kind of how court goes. When I get myself back together, I'll go for full custody. You got to be careful going for full custody, though. You got to be careful doing that, because when you go for full custody, the burden of proof falls on you. So now you have to prove why the other parent deserves to have zero custody of their child. You have to prove. You can't say because they cheated on me. You can't say because they haven't been involved for the last 4 years. You can't say all of that stuff is not going to cut it. All of that stuff is not going to cut it. I promise you. You got to speak facts and you got to prove key terms. Listen, you have to prove why they are unfit to be a parent. That's what you have to prove. And when I tell you, that shit is difficult. Extremely difficult. Extremely. I know. I originally went for full custody. Full physical custody. Not legal. Full physical custody. And after speaking with my lawyer, I had to bump it down to joint custody. And then now if something happens or I want to go back for full custody, I have to go back. Because things happen in baby steps. Things happen in baby steps. You can't just jump from 70-30 to full. You can't just jump from, whatever to whatever. It happens in baby steps. Unless they are really unfit and you can prove it. Unless they're really unfit and you can prove it. Damn, we have 14K, y'all. I appreciate y'all. Please continue to like. Please continue to share it out. If you guys are getting value from this live, value from any other lives or content I posted, please continue to share it out. Continue to like. I really appreciate y'all. Travel with Honeybee, thank you for that follow. I appreciate you. Zane, thank you for that follow. I appreciate you. Thank you everybody who dropped gifts tonight. I really appreciate that. Thank you for everybody who just stopped through. Thank you for everybody who followed. Tana, thank you for that heart me. I appreciate you. Thank you for everybody who was sharing and liking. H20, thank you for the roses. I appreciate you. Thank you. I commend you as a father to speak out about your experience. Kudos to you. Thank you, H20. I appreciate that. I just really want to help people. Mother or father, I want to help people. And I get a lot of men specifically. I get men and women in my direct messages, but I get a lot of men who specifically are saying thank you for having the courage to speak out on things like this and stuff like that. And to the men that are in the chat, it don't make you soft to, have feelings and feel, like you losing yourself or like you got anxiety from dealing with somebody who's high conflict or for dealing with somebody, for going through these things. You human. It don't make you no less of a man. Don't make you weak. It don't make you none of that. Like, it's cool. People go through this shit. This is real life. Like, people go through this shit. You feel me? Like, we don't live in a perfect world. It's cool. It's okay. You know what I'm saying? As a woman, I will also thank you. No, thank you. And that's the thing, I originally just came on here with my experiences, what helped me, what worked for me, the things that I've been through, whatever the case may be. And I got a lot of women that tapped in with me, and I'm very appreciative of that. Because one thing I'm a people's person, right? I'm not one of those people that's like pro male, pro female. I'm a people person, right? I don't like seeing people getting taken advantage of. I don't like that. You know what I'm saying? So when I see women being controlled by their baby daddy or whatever the case may be, I'm going to give you the game. I'm going to give you the game, and hopefully that helps you get out of that situation. Because as a woman, you don't deserve that. I've mentioned it earlier. Matter of fact, my mom is in the chat, y'all. My mom is in the chat. Mama T. Shout out Mama T. She said, I'm very proud of you for sharing. Not everyone would do that. Thank you, Mom. I appreciate you, Mom. I mentioned to y'all, I was raised by a single mother. So under no circumstances do I want to see a woman get taken advantage of. And I got daughters. I got a sister. I got hella female cousins that I grew up with as sisters, as my sisters. So, under no circumstances. Now, I'm also a man. So under no circumstances do I want to see a male get taken advantage of by a female. Right? So I'm just here to do my part and give y'all the game and give y'all what, what works, what has helped, what will help. And I'm glad that it's resonating with a lot of y'all and it's helping. That means more to me than anything. I promise you, that means more to me than anything. I've always been the type of person that wants to make an impact and wants to help people. That means more to me than anything. Audrey, welcome in. Welcome to the family. H20, what were you going to ask? Said I was going to ask. Thank you for the roses, H20. I appreciate you. Britton, thank you. I appreciate that. I really appreciate that. Britton, thank you. I appreciate that. I really appreciate that. We're discussing a lot of topics right now, Audrey. We're discussing a lot of topics. Originally we were talking about boundaries that help you save your sanity when you're co-parenting. Boundaries are everything. They're not negotiable. They're non-negotiable, I should say. They're not optional. They are mandatory. I have a daughter who is 11, whose dad is passive aggressive towards her because he cannot get to me. He doesn't respect any boundaries. So here's the thing. When you have your boundary set, you can't expect them to respect your boundaries. You can't expect them to respect your boundaries. Your co-parent is never going to respect your boundaries if you're dealing with somebody who just like ain't there mentally. They're not going to respect it. So don't expect that. What you need to do is you need to just stand on your boundaries and enforce them. You have to enforce your boundaries. So Ella, give me an example of some of your boundaries or one of your boundaries. Give me an example. Hey, I appreciate that, Lala. Lala said, I don't even have a conflict co-parent and this space is still valuable to me. Thank you, Lala. I appreciate that. Desi, thank you for that follow. I appreciate you. H20, I appreciate that. I appreciate that comment. H20 said, people can debate and everyone has their say, But I see truth and I see it in you. I appreciate that, H20. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I really appreciate that. It means a lot. Nah, Ruben, is hella dudes in here. I don't know if they still in here, but they were. Don't feel ashamed, bruh. It's real life shit. People be going through it, man. Have a good night. Mama, see you guys a real one. Thank you, Lala. I appreciate you, Lala. Thank you for coming through. And thank you for contributing to the conversation in the chat. I really appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Hey, I'm on here all week, y'all. Usually I just do Tuesdays. I try and get in on a Thursday, and then I try and do another day throughout the weekend. I'm in here all week. All week. We on live. Are the topics you went over in one of your videos? Yeah, so my videos, all my videos have touched everything that we've talked about tonight. All my video, I got so many videos though, y'all, but all my videos have touched everything that we talked about tonight. And I think Lala gave me the idea, actually. She asked me if this live is going to be recorded and put on YouTube. I think I might do that. I think I might put all my lives on YouTube. I think I just might do that. I was going to clip them up, which I still might do, clip them up and post them on TikTok just for short form. And then I'll probably post the full thing on YouTube. That's a great idea. Absolutely, absolutely. I think I'll do that. I think I'll work on that, y'all. I'll start working on that this week / this weekend. So my YouTube is up here, y'all. My YouTube is up here. Everything is Real Life Playbook across all platforms. TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Real Life Playbook. Yes. Ofa, please pin that. Please pin that. After I jumped off live last night, y'all, I stayed up till like 2 o'clock my time working on my ebook. It is coming very soon. Like when I say very soon, like possibly before the week is out. So hopefully one of these lives this week, I'll have that announcement for y'all. I will have that announcement for y'all. It is an ebook guide. It's kind of like a volume 1 type thing where it's a guide to kind of guide you through co-parenting and high conflict co-parenting, blended families, things like that. And then I might be working on a novel ebook that will be pretty lengthy and have some of the stories and some of the situations I've been through and how they were handled and things like that. H20, you know, when I first started on TikTok and I first started going live, I was pulling people up. But the thing is that it started dragging out too long. And it started taking away from, I like to allow people to get into the chat and ask their questions or whatever the case may be. My mom is a fool, man. Whatever the case may be, I like for people to be involved and engaged. So I realized when I started bringing people up, it started taking away from the flow of the live. So that's why I stopped doing that. Yeah, my mama is definitely going to be in the second book. Not in the first one, but she definitely going to be in the second one. Nah, you right. You right. I guess I'm just a little too nice. I'm not about to just like cut somebody off and just hang up on them. 20K, Julio, thank you for that notice. We just hit 20K, y'all. I appreciate the likes. Let's get at least 5 more K. Let's get 5 more. I actually was only going to stay on until like 10:40. And I say that every time I jump on live, I swear. I'm just going to stay on for an hour. I'm going to just stay on for 20 minutes. And then it turns into me being on for like 2.5 hours, 3 hours. But I really enjoy talking to y'all. I really do. If I missed any of your comments or questions, please drop it in the chat. Let's get this thing to 25 likes, y'all. Oh, you gonna forget about Ella. My bad, Ella. Hold on. Let me scroll up. My bad, Ella. Hold on. Okay, boom. So Ella said for one of her boundaries was she's telling her co-parent not to talk about court things with their daughter. And tells her that it's her fault and her fault that he can't see her. All right. So here's the thing. That's not really a boundary. It is and it isn't. And the reason why I say that is because when you tell your co-parent, I don't want you telling them X, Y, and Z, you're not wrong for that. That's the right thing to do. You're not wrong for that. But we can't control other people. So there's no way to enforce that. Now, you can get that in a parenting plan and court documents and all this other stuff, but it still can't be enforced. You can't really enforce that. Yeah, you can take them back to court. You can document it, take them back to court and show and prove that they're still doing it and things like that. But when you go back to court and you're going back to court for those types of like little petty things, it's not like things that are directly affecting the child, like where it's like they're in immediate danger. You're kind of just playing with the court system at that point. So that's a difficult one. You can't really do too much about that. All you can really do is sit and talk to your child and not bash the other parent, but sit and talk to the child and really just talk to them and tell them like, listen, this has nothing to do with you. So you weren't in here earlier, Ella, but I kind of dealt with a similar situation when my child was 7 years old. I took his mother to court, and his mother would tell him it's his fault why I'm taking her to court. He's 7 and she's telling him these things, right? So all I did in that situation was have a conversation with him and let him know none of this is your fault, dude. None of this is your fault. Me and mommy are going to court. She understands why. I understand why. You don't need to know why. It has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with us. Don't worry about it. I love you. You know, you can talk to me whenever you need to talk, whatever, right? You just need to reassure them. That's it. You need to make it a safe space for them and reassure them. That's it. Now, when you show up in that way and you show up with your actions versus, trying to combat what he's saying, at that point, as she gets older, I mean, she's already at that age, but as she gets older, she's going to start looking at dad differently. She's going to start looking at dad like, yeah, all these things that you're saying about mom, they don't match with her actions. She's actually not that person. She's actually not, doesn't seem like she's doing these things. Yeah, so I would try my best, Ella, to document as much as possible. And how do you, so look, for those of y'all who I always talk about documenting stuff, some of y'all will say, but how do you document somebody's behavior if you don't live with them, or if you don't see them, or if you don't interact with them? Easy, simple, not easy, simple, right? You got to get a little creative. This is what you do. If your child comes back to you and says, this is what dad said, this is what he did, blah, 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 right? You need to text dad and you need to recap what your daughter said. Don't say, Ella said that you did this, blah, blah, blah. Don't say that. Just recap, paint a picture to where if you were to screenshot that and you were to hand it to somebody and they read it, they're able to visualize exactly what dad did or what dad said. You got to paint that picture. So you send that text painting that picture of his behavior. Whatever he says back, you are screenshotting the whole conversation. If he don't write back, that's fine too. Screenshot the conversation. That's fine. That's fine. Screenshot the conversation. But you need to paint the picture of exactly what your daughter said that he did and said, and send it to him and say, listen, but you got to say it in a way where you're looking out for your daughter's best interest. Hey, listen, I understand this is a stressful time for everybody, but at the end of the day, I don't think it's beneficial for you to be saying these things to Ella when, you know, she's only 11. You're saying X, Y, Z, this, and it makes her feel like this. And you screenshot that. That is evidence. That holds up in court. That is evidence. Also, Ella, I don't know what state you're in, but in my state, in California, at 12 years old, they start taking the child's considerations, voice into consideration. So, you know, once your daughter turns 12, if she feels a certain way or she wants to testify or something like that, she's able to do so. Hey, we got up to 26.3. I appreciate y'all. Thank you. I'm going to stay on. It's 11:41 my time, y'all. I'm going to stay on until 11:45. And then I will be back on tomorrow. I think I got on tonight around like 9:30-ish, 9:40-ish. I will probably be on around the same time. If not, maybe about an hour earlier. And then we'll just stay on longer. Yes, absolutely, Ella. Absolutely. I would highly suggest y'all, before you go to court, do your research. Do your research on where the court hearing may be held once you file. Do the research on who the judges are. Do the research on what judges look for when presenting a case. Do your research on how to acquire whatever it is you're trying to acquire. Just so you know what you're walking in on and how to prepare. Oh, you got full custody. What's the visitation schedule, Ella? What's the visitation schedule? Debs, thank you for that follow. I appreciate you. 27.2. I appreciate you guys. 27.2 likes. Thank you. Oh, he doesn't comply to drug tests. Okay, cool. So at this point, Ella, pick and choose your battles. At this point, whatever he want to say, whatever he want to do. Sorry, y'all, I got this little magnet in my hand. Whatever he wants to do at this point, let him do it. If he want to, it's just harassing all the time. If he's harassing, then you screenshot. If it's actual harassment, he's popping up, showing up, all this other stuff. That's a whole different case. That's a whole different case. I mean, whether he has a lawyer or not doesn't really matter. I mean, you got full custody. You're not doing anything wrong. So, but if he's harassing, that's a whole different case. So, I mean, you can file for a restraining order, but you just got to have proof of how he's harassing you. If I have 3 kids and the oldest wants to live full-time with me, how does that change custody? How old is the oldest? How old is the oldest? So that's the thing, Ella. It's a slippery, it's like a slippery subject and situation when it comes to that, because if you already have full custody, yeah, your daughter is 11. You can file a restraining order even that covers your daughter. But here's the thing. Proving emotional damage is the tough part. Proving emotional damage is the tough part. Now, if, she turns 12 and she wants to, talk about how she feels and how it's harming her and the effects that it's having on her, that's a different story. That's a different story. But if you have to prove it, proving that is very difficult. Michael Cruz, thank you for that follow. I appreciate you. I'm sorry, Michael. Thank you, thank you, thank you. What to do if I'm told that my wife is the better parent than I am? I wouldn't really fight over that. I would just show up and prove with actions that you're a good parent. It's not about better or worse. Like, it's not a competition. It's not a competition. It's about being the best you as a parent as you can be. So you got to just show up the best way that you can show up, and you show up with action, and you let your actions speak for itself. All right, y'all. 11:46 my time. It's 11:46 my time. All right, so I'm gonna be on all week, y'all. I'm back on here tomorrow. M Beauty, thank you for that follow. I'm back on here tomorrow, y'all. All right. So at the earliest, probably about 8:30. At the latest, probably about 9:40. I'll be back on here. Ella, thank you for that follow. I appreciate you. I hope everybody has a great night. I appreciate y'all for liking and sharing. I appreciate all the gifts, all the follows. If you haven't followed me here yet, YouTube, Instagram, is Real Life Playbook across all platforms. Please follow me here in case, your government decides that they want to do away with TikTok. Real Life Playbook is still going to be here. All right. So please follow me there. I appreciate you guys, and I hope to see you tomorrow in the next live. Everybody have a great night.